Hi, my name is John Lustrea and I'm the Education Coordinator here at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a quick tour through the museum and show you some of the highlights of our collection. The object you see behind me was the field desk for Major Jonathan Letterman, the Medical Director of the Union Army of the Potomac. Now, if that name is unfamiliar to you, you shouldn't be too surprised. I often tell people that he's the most important person that you've never heard of before. It's Letterman that created the system of battlefield evacuation that was first put in place during the Civil War and is still used by the military today. At the start of the Civil War, there was no ambulance corps and no systemized way of getting wounded soldiers off the battlefield and into field hospitals. For example, at the first major battle of the Civil War, the Battle of First Bull Run, wounded soldiers lay on the field for 5 to 7 days waiting for medical care. Letterman changes all that. At the Battle of Antietam, he institutes the Letterman system, a system designed to care for wounded soldiers from the moment they're injured all the way through long-term recovery. They're cared for on the front lines at field dressing stations, immediately behind the lines for stabilizing surgery at field hospitals, and then distantly behind the lines to general hospitals where they receive long-term recovery. And his system, the Letterman Plan, combined with the newly created ambulance corps, is so effective that at the Battle of Antietam, the bloodiest single day in American history, all 23,000 casualties are off the battlefield and into hospitals within 24 hours of the end of the battle. It's a remarkable success. We can still see examples of the Letterman Plan and this type of emergency battlefield evacuation in our world today. Our military still uses that skeleton, that structure. They, rather than using wagons or using helicopters, motorized vehicles and things, but the same structure still holds. Likewise, in the civilian world, we still use ambulances whose goal is to quickly get people from the site of an accident or injury or whatever into hospitals. So the innovations that Letterman creates during the Civil War are still with us today, and it's very possible, if not even likely, that some of the orders that he wrote to create that system were penned at this very desk. The tent you see here is the last known surviving surgeon's tent from the American Civil War. Now, this is not where any surgeries took place, but where rather the surgeon lived and slept while they were in the field. It belonged to Surgeon John Wiley of the 6th New Jersey, and you can actually see this very same tent in this photograph. This is just one of the many ways that we here at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine are striving to preserve the incredible legacy of Civil War medicine. And that's only possible through the help of visitors like you and our incredible members. Okay, odds are, when you think of Civil War medicine, you tend to think of a scene that looks a lot like this, the amputation scene. And there's good reason for that. The amputation was the most common surgical procedure during the Civil War. It's about 60,000 amputations performed between both sides during the conflict. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out what was happening here. This surgeon here is administering anesthesia. That's not something that a lot of people tend to think about with Civil War medicine. They tend to either gravitate towards people either took a shot of whiskey or maybe they bit the bullet. Well, in particular with biting the bullet, it didn't happen because anesthesia was so pervasive. Well over 95% of all Civil War surgeries used anesthesia. We're talking chloroform and ether, but that's much better than nothing. But what I really want to draw your attention to here is this table. This is the only item in our collection that was actually used as an operating table during a Civil War battle. This table was used as an operating table by Confederate surgeons at the Battle of Cedar Creek, fought in Virginia in 1864. This is just one of the many incredible artifacts that we are able to preserve and tell the story of here at the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. And the only way we're able to do that is thanks to our incredible members and visitors like you. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick little tour going through the museum, and we hope to see you in here someday.